How my wife made me her playful companion. Come on, John. It'll be hilarious, I urged, waving a blonde wig with bouncy curls in front of him. He stood in the doorway of our bedroom, eyeing it with skepticism. He had just come home after a long day at work, and I knew the last thing he wanted was to indulge in one of my quirky ideas. But I was determined to win him over. Are you sure about this? He asked, his voice laced with doubt. I grinned confidently. Absolutely. It'll be fun, trust me. I patted the space next to me on the bed, coaxing him closer. With a deep sigh, John moved toward me. He might not have understood what I was going for, but he trusted me, and that meant everything. I placed the wig on his head, adjusting it until the curls framed his face just right. He stared at his reflection in the mirror, a mix of amusement and embarrassment flickering in his eyes. I look ridiculous, he muttered, to which I responded, no way. You look adorable. I ran my fingers through the synthetic hair, teasing him. Now, let's take it up a notch. I reached into the dresser and pulled out a pink lacy bra and matching panties. John's face turned to one of shock. Alice, I'm not sure about this, he hesitated. I smiled sweetly. Come on, it'll be sexy, I promised, giving him a playful nudge. Think of it as an adventure, something new for both of us. He hesitated but finally gave in, starting to undress. I helped him fasten the bra, the delicate lace brushing against his skin. Next, I handed him the panties, and after a nervous laugh, he slipped them on. Just don't get any stains on them, I teased, winking at him. John chuckled, his tension finally easing. You really are something else, Alice, he said, shaking his head in amusement. And you love me for it, I replied, admiring him as he looked back at his reflection. He did look utterly absurd, but in the most charming way. The stress of his day seemed to melt away in the face of the absurdity. I picked up a tube of lipstick, ready to finish the look. Let's complete this, I said with a mischievous grin. I uncapped the lipstick and leaned in, applying it to his lips. He closed his eyes, allowing me to work. The bright red hue popped against his features, adding to the overall effect. Now, the final touch, I said, heading for the closet and pulling out a sleek black dress. John's eyes widened as he took in the sight. Are you serious? He asked. Absolutely, I replied, holding the dress out to him. This look wouldn't be complete without it. With a resigned laugh, John slid the dress over his head, and I helped zip it up, the fabric hugging his body in all the right places. John turned to the mirror, and his jaw dropped. I actually look pretty good in this, he said, smoothing the fabric over his hips. We're not done yet, I said, retrieving a pair of black heels from under the bed. John's playful smile returned as he carefully stepped into the heels, testing his balance. What about pantyhose? He teased, raising an eyebrow. I laughed and mockingly scolded him. Oh, you're right. How could I forget? I rummaged through the dresser for a pair of sheer black pantyhose. Sit down, I instructed, and he obeyed, sitting on the edge of the bed. I slid the pantyhose up his legs, noticing his muscles tense under my touch. A sly grin spread across his face as I finished. I knew you were enjoying this, I teased. He twirled a lock of the wig around his finger and winked. No promises, he said, his lips curling into a playful smile. I laughed, squeezing his leg. Just remember what I said about the panties, I reminded him, giving him a kiss on the cheek. John stood, carefully testing his balance in the heels. So, how do I look? He asked, striking a pose. Absolutely stunning, I replied with a smile that warmed my heart. John gazed at his reflection, a slow smile creeping onto his face. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. Believe it, I said, wrapping my arms around his waist from behind. And enjoy it. I'm doing this for you, Alice, he murmured, turning to pull me closer. You better appreciate it. Oh, I do, I said, standing on my tiptoes to kiss him. And that's why I love you. A playful thought crossed my mind, and I grinned. You need a name to match this look. How about Joanna? John blinked, then a slow smile spread across his face.
Joanna?
I like it, he said, his voice turning flirtatious. All right, Joanna, I said, guiding him to the vanity. Let's finish the transformation. I laid out my makeup supplies and started to work. John watched with a mixture of curiosity and amusement as I applied foundation, contour, and eyeshadow. "Is this what you do every day?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "Pretty much," I answered, laughing. I applied eyeliner and mascara, transforming his eyes into something dramatic and captivating. "And now for the lips," I said, carefully outlining and filling them in. After the final touches, I stepped back. "Well, Joanna, you look absolutely stunning." John turned to the mirror, admiring the finished product. "I do, don't I?" he said, a hint of awe in his voice. "Thank you, Alice. This was unexpected, but honestly fun." "I'm glad you're enjoying it," I replied, my heart swelling with affection for him. "Maybe we should make this a regular thing." John laughed, giving a playful twirl. "I wouldn't mind," he said with a grin. "All this makeup has me hungry, though." "I'm starving," I admitted, my stomach growling in agreement. "How about we grab some dinner?" John's eyes widened. "You want to go out like this?" "Come on," I said, nudging him playfully. "No one will even notice. Besides, you might even get a few compliments." John's hesitation faded, replaced by a spark of excitement. "All right, let's do it." We headed out, hand in hand, strolling through the cool evening air toward our favorite pasta restaurant. The nerves from earlier had melted away, and we were both full of laughter and anticipation. When we arrived, the host led us to a cozy table by the window. As we settled in, the waiter came over, his eyes widening at the sight of John in full transformation. "Good evening, ladies," he said with a charming smile. "What can I get for you tonight?" I glanced at John, who seemed flustered but flattered by the attention. "We'll start with garlic bread, and I'll have the fettuccine alfredo," I said, handing over my menu. The waiter turned his attention to John. "And for you?" John, now fully embracing the role of Joanna, replied with a confident spaghetti carbonara. "Excellent choice," the waiter said, his smile widening. "Can I get you ladies something to drink?" "A glass of red wine for me," I answered. "I'll have the same," Joanna added, her confidence growing with every passing moment. As the waiter left, I whispered to John, "See? No one suspects a thing." He laughed softly, twirling a lock of his wig. "You might be right. This is actually kind of fun." I winked, feeling a sense of satisfaction. "You look absolutely sexy, by the way." Before he could respond, the waiter returned with our drinks, setting them down with a flourish. "Here you go, ladies. Your food will be out shortly," he said, lingering for a moment and gazing at Joanna. "If you don't mind me saying, you have the most beautiful eyes." John blushed, clearly surprised by the compliment. "Thank you," she murmured, casting a glance at me that was part disbelief, part amusement. I smiled. "I told you." The evening unfolded like a whimsical adventure, the tension of the day dissolving into laughter, conversation, and the warmth of shared moments. By the time we finished our meal and paid the bill, Joanna was completely relaxed, confident, and ready to head home. "Ready to go?" I asked, standing up and offering my hand. "Ready," she replied, smiling as she took it.